a session called Community First that is presented by Socialbakers with a guest from Cossette. Our speakers are Brody Jones, who's the Enterprise Account Executive at Socialbakers, and Youri Hollier, who is the Group Director of Content at Cossette. After the session, we have 2 other sessions, but I do want to say that Socialbakers does have a booth just outside of the theater, and I highly, highly encourage you guys to step out and chat with these guys, because what they're doing with their platform is unmatched and unparalleled by any other tool that's out there. And feel free to ask Brody why, because he'll be able to show you. So without further ado, let me welcome Brody to the stage.
Uh-oh. Hello, Social Media Week. Thanks everyone for coming to the second day, which also happens to be on the second day of winter. My name's Brody Jones, and I'm with Socialbakers.
And my name's Youri. I am with Cossette.
And we're here today to talk to you about how a community-first strategy that's backed by data can be a winning strategy for everyone in this room to actually take home and use. A little bit about Socialbakers if you're not familiar. So we were founded in 2008. We service about 3,000 different clients, including like the Aldo Group, the University of Waterloo, everyone kind of in between in terms of verticals, and 12 offices, including one here in Toronto. Now, if you didn't get it by the video, so we are a unified social platform. We think that we were the platform that was actually built for the marketer in mind. And so all of your publishing, community management, even influencer workflows and analytics is all in one centralized suite. Now, what makes our system a little bit different is over the last 11 years, we've been collecting data, and a lot of it. With all the social media networks, we now have one of the largest data sets in the world, and we ingest more than 20 million pieces of content every single day. What this means for our clients is on the other end, you're able to take actionable recommendations on both organic and paid social strategy. Now, today in the market, there's about 7,000 different tools and integrations to all help us connect with our communities a little bit easier. And I, for one, think it's actually a pretty exciting time to work in social because we know that the industry is actually still growing. By next year, there's going to be 2.5 billion people on Earth will have signed up for some sort of a social media network, and there's no signs of slowing year over year. We see that some of the platforms that we use or have been around for a while, like YouTube and Instagram, are actually still growing, and they're still growing with the amount of people that use those platforms every single day. Digital ad spend in 2019, for the first time ever, surpassed traditional ad spend. A decade ago, I think a lot of people in the advertising industry would have said this could never happen. And I think what's more shocking is that by 2021, we see that gap accelerating further. And this might be a little contentious, but some people will argue influencer marketing might be here to stay. It might not be. But what the data shows is that in the last year alone, there's been a third increase in the amount of content that's tagged ad. And we know that this is actually underrepresentative of the current situation because we all know the amount of influencer content we're seeing every day that isn't properly tagged. So this is amazing, but we all know there was a but coming, and this is what makes it exciting. The average consumer now sees more than 5,000 brand mentions every single day. So how are you supposed to stand out? How are you connecting with this community to actually get your message across? And this can feel difficult. I feel like every couple of weeks we wake up and the whole platform's changed again, and we're always catching up with our strategy. We also, for the first time ever, have channels within channels. Instagram's now introducing IGTV. We have government regulation coming in for the first time ever. So GDPR is well into effect, and that has affected a lot of brands. If anyone's heard last week in the United States, the FTC just introduced new laws around disclosure of influencer content. So we have all these external forces actually changing our jobs. We can actually see in our system that behavior is shifting. So we know that Facebook's the biggest network, and there's actually still more volume of activity on it, but human behavior has actually moved the engagement over to this newer little brother of a network. We know that delivery of social is consistently shifting. So Snapchat introduced that brand new story format back in 2014. Some people thought it was never going to go anywhere. And at the minute it was actually adopted by all the other bigger players, we see that now it's a mainstream that sometimes we actually separate as it having its own strategy on the same platforms. Aggregately, we can track that click-through rates are continually dropping, and that engagement on both major brands and even media companies month over month is continually on the decline. And we can't talk about social without also including paid social. Brands are so eager to connect with their community that we know that paid is now part of the equation. But what we can also see is that they're so willing to connect and want to connect so badly, they're actually spending money for promoting some of their worst content that they've ever created, which just means that that ad budget is actually getting wasted. So what does this mean for the social media marketer today? What does this mean, I think, for most of us in the room? It means that waking up in the morning can feel a little bit overwhelming. What do I post? Where do I post? What's the strategy? What metric should I be monitoring? And what we wanted to come up here today and to show you as a case study was don't panic. What we think that we should do is just take it back to basics a little bit. And what we're going to show you next is how a really simple strategy. We think it's applicable to a lot of Canadian brands that are in this room, whether you're a startup or a major corporation. And a lot of that really just follows, or sorry, because a lot of that starts with looking to your community.
Thank you. So as Brody mentioned, community is super, super important. They can help inspire, they can help inform, they can give you immediate feedback. They have a lot to say. For better or for worse, hopefully they're saying more positive than negative. But no matter what they're saying, there is this opportunity for insight, for inspiration, and these kernels of truth that can really help drive a campaign or a brand forward. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So with McDonald's Canada, the account that I'm on, we leverage social listening for absolutely everything. So we're always listening to what people are saying about products, about campaigns, about their experience. But today, I want to focus specifically on McNuggets. So everyone knows them, everyone loves them, they're delicious. And last year, we were tasked with a challenge to create a socially led campaign around this product. So we know that people love this product, but that's not enough. Everyone loves them, but what's the human truth behind them? So, of course, the first thing we did is went to the community. We listened to what they said. I mean, an example like this, got chills eating McNuggets, listening to Harry Styles. It's, there's definitely something there, but it speaks to how people are experiencing the product. And that's something that, even if it's just one idea, it can help grow a whole series of them. So diving deep into this social listening, this community, what we really found was that McNugget love is all about rituals. So, some recurring themes that would come up were pairing. So whether it's a 6-pack of McNuggets and a nice white, or sauce and dipping. So, my favorite sauce is this, my favorite sauce is that. I like to dip them in a McFlurry. People do it, see? Or special events. Oh, they're the best thing to eat at a birthday party. Or, at the end of my wedding celebration, we brought McNuggets for everyone. Shapes. Believe it or not, this is a very, very contentious issue. Some people eat them in a specific order, so they may start with the boots first. They may end with the bells, but that is the way they do it. So tapping into the community and seeing what was really inspiring them and how they interacted with the product, we were able to come up with this really, really insightful concept that, it's really all about rituals. Moving into hypothesis, though, we didn't want to just say, okay, this is the insight, this is what we're going forward with. We wanted to test this hypothesis and this insight, so of course, we brought it back to the community. Again, contentious, we posted this organically, but what we saw is when you give people kind of a prompt, a cue, a debate or a conversation to engage in, this is when they really start to come out of the woodwork and contribute, knowing that this is something that's so personal and that everyone has their own unique ritual. We got some phenomenal feedback and just kind of confirmed that the insight that we had gotten from the community was accurate, which led to a concept. So has anyone seen the Nug Etiquette platform? 1. Perfect. We're doing our work. Oh, 3. Excellent. But the thought here is that, there's really no right way to eat your McNuggets, only your way. And again, that is a creative spark that our team had driven from this community-led insight. But then, creating the content, we also wanted to tap into community. So what we saw was really interesting is it didn't just give us an idea for a campaign, it gave us an idea for an entire platform. A new way to speak about McNuggets, this Nug Etiquette concept. In the first iteration, we did this more fantastical, almost Wes Anderson-style approach that was actually driven by user-generated comments. So, tapping into the community to actually drive the creative forward. In the second iteration, we used our partnership with the Raptors to, again, put it on the community and say, which of these Raptors players do you identify? Which Nug Etiquette resonates the most with you? And then the third one, we wanted to push it even further and say, well, we know that these rituals are so unique, but what if it were a lifestyle magazine? What if we could create content, an entire series of it that really speaks to this Nug Etiquette lifestyle? So partnering with influencers and creating some really kind of obscure and abstract concepts, we were able to push that even further. But again, all driven by community. And same goes with the formats. We tapped into the platforms to say, with each iteration, to say what is resonating, what's actually like the most compelling, what formats are working, what content is working. And with each phase of this kind of campaign or platform, we were able to improve step by step by step by looking at the results. The results were fantastic. We got really good completion, really good engagement. And again, that just all goes back to looking at what the community was enjoying, what really resonated with them, and creating content specifically for that purpose. Again, though, numbers are great, but sometimes anecdotal or qualitative data is equally or more impactful. Case in point, with the last version of the campaign, we had Luke, who spent 4 minutes staring at a digital lifestyle magazine that brings you the latest from the world of Chicken McNuggets. I mean, if you had told that to someone before we pitched the campaign, they would have thought we were nuts. But really, it just goes to show that tapping into the community and then taking it back to the community helps validate that community-first approach. And lastly, once you've wrapped everything up, it's just important to reassess and look at the data a little bit deeper so that with each consecutive version, you're just getting the best content forward, and you're able to move forward with stuff that really resonates with your audience. So really high level, a few simple steps to follow. Start with the community and always bring it back to the community. I mean, they can be useful for insights. They can be useful for the creative that works best. They'll feed the actual content that you can reimagine and reinterpret. Identify those trends. So again, tap into those rich learnings and those insights to pull out those nuggets that it's pun absolutely intended. That they, that inspires them. Create the content they'll love. So again, tapping into platforms like Socialbakers, where you're able to see what's resonating with them, or just listening to what they're saying on your channels. Analyze engagement and then learn from the data. Some really simple steps, but that all rooted in this community-first mentality, knowing that they're the ones that drive your brand forward. So if you listen to them and create content that they're already putting out there themselves, your campaign should be a success.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, we just wanted everyone to have something that was hopefully tangible that we can actually take home from today. So after the next presentation, if anyone has any questions for Youri, myself, or more of the Socialbakers Toronto team, we're going to be here all day just at a booth back in that lobby. Thank you.